Hi, in this particular video we're going to be looking at some fairly comprehensive and quite difficult rearranging formula type questions. They are aimed at about grade 7 of a GCSE, maybe towards grade 8. So please do stop the video, have a go at each of the questions. If you've got any comments, please note. If you need any help, add a comment below. I'll always come back to you. I look forward to seeing you inside the video.
Okay, so just a quick note before we continue. If you require any additional support, please visit 3minutemaths.co.uk. You can search for any GCSE maths topic or search by grade, and if you click on any of the links, that will take you through to a particular post. So this one is how to answer maths indices questions. There are links through to the questions, the answers, and a walkthrough video as well. You can also remain on the YouTube channel, and all of the resources are within the YouTube channel and descriptions below each of the videos. Hope that's useful to you. Okay, so in this worksheet we're going to be looking at rearranging formula. The questions start fairly straightforward, but they do get a little bit tricky towards the end, so please do download the worksheet, have a go at each of these questions. So the first one is not too bad. We're looking to make S the subject of the formula, so all I need to do is minus tu from both sides, and that means these two will cross out and I get P minus tu equals S. Now I'm very aware that it's much easier to read this as S equals P minus tu, and that's perfectly understandable, but as we're working through these you need to be able to work both from left to right, which is this way, and also from right to left. Okay, so hopefully you should be okay with that as a general principle. Let's move on then to making t the subject of the formula. It's exactly the same formula. What I'm going to do this time is I'm going to minus s from both sides, so I'm going to get p minus s equals tu, and then I need to make t the subject, so therefore I've got t times u, so if I divide through by u, it means I can write this as the fraction p minus s over u equals t, and that would be the answer to question number 2. Okay, let's move on then to question number 3. We're making s. Now you'll notice it's s squared, but that's okay. I'm just going to use exactly the same principle in that I'm going to minus 4tu from both sides. So if I do that, I can write this as p minus 4tu, and that equals s squared. However, I don't want s squared, I want s on its own, so therefore I'm going to square root both sides, and if I square root both sides I get s equals p minus 4tu all rooted, and that would be the answer to that particular question. Okay, so we can move along at these at fairly good pace, providing we've got these general sort of principles in place. So this one we're going to make t the subject of the formula. Again, I don't need s squared there, so I'm going to minus s squared from both sides, and I'm going to get p squared minus s squared equals 4tu. I'm looking to make t the subject, so therefore I'm going to divide both sides by 4u, and I can write that as a fraction p squared minus s squared all over 4u, and that's going to equal t. Now if you want to with all of these you can write them the other way around just to make it a little bit easier to read, so t equals p squared minus s squared over 4u, but just in the interest of this particular video I'm trying to move things along at a fairly good pace, but taken as read that we can write it the other way around if we need to. Okay, so let's move on to making t the subject, and this particular one we've got this 1/6 of t, okay, which I need to be aware of. However, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to minus 6w from both sides, therefore I can write that as v minus 6w equals 1/6 of t. Now if I want t, I want one value of t, so therefore I need to multiply both sides by 6, and that's going to give me 6 times v minus 6w equals t, and that would be the answer to that particular question. Okay, hopefully this is making sense, it's all okay for you. Let's move on then to question number 6. Now, a bit of an awkward one, this one. They are starting to get now a little bit more challenging, but in this particular case we want w as the subject of the formula. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to minus 0.2t from both sides. Okay, so if I minus 0.2t from both sides, I'm going to get v minus 0.2t equals 5w squared. Okay, so what I need to do then is divide both sides by 5. If I divide both sides by 5, I can write this as a fraction, which is going to be v minus 0.2t all divided by 5. Now that equals w squared. However, I don't want w squared, I want w on its own, so therefore if I square root both sides, I'm actually going to get my answer, and I'll just rub this out a little bit. If I square root both sides, I get rid of that w, and therefore I get rid of the square of the w, therefore I can write that as the square root of v minus 0.2t all over 5. Okay, so a little bit more challenging, but I'm afraid that's the way it is with this particular worksheet. Okay, let's move on then to question number 7, making a the subject of the formula. This one's not too bad. I need to minus pi r from both sides. I'm going to do that, which is going to give me p minus pi r, because that and that go, and that's going to equal 2r plus 2a. I need to minus 2r from both sides, and that's going to give me p minus pi r minus 2r equals 2a, and then I need to divide both sides by 2. Now if I divide both sides by 2, I can write this as the fraction, so I'm just going to rub this out a little bit and write it as a fraction, that a equals p minus pi r minus 2s all divided by 2, and that would be the answer to that particular question. Okay, so I hope that's okay for you. Let's move on then to question number 8. Now, question number 8, you'll notice that a is both sides of the formula. So let's expand that out first and see where we get. So we've got 3a plus b, and that equals ax plus cx. Okay, so what I need to do is to get a, or my terms containing a, on the same side of the formula. So if I minus ax from both sides, I'm going to get, if I write that as 3a minus ax plus b equals cx, and then I'm going to minus b from both sides, and then I've got two terms, 3a minus ax equals cx minus b. So my two terms containing a are on the left hand side. Now if I factorize for a, what I get is a times 3 minus x equals cx minus b. And then really it's just a case of dividing through by 3 minus x. So it's a technique of factorizing in order to get a as the subject of the formula. I'm going to get cx minus b all divided by 3 minus x. Okay, so this is a 3-mark question. Hopefully this is okay for you. This is the kind of level that you need to be at with these sorts of questions. Okay, let's move on then to the next one, which is question number 9, making b the subject of the formula. And again, we've got b on both sides of the equation. If I expand this out, I'm going to get 3b, so I've got a b here, plus b d, I've got a b there as well, and that equals xb plus xc. Okay, so I've got b's in 3 places, which makes it very awkward for me, but it's actually not too bad because I've moved the xb over towards the left hand side. I'm going to get 3b plus bd minus xb equals xc, and then I'm going to factorize for b, so that's b 3 plus d minus x equals xc, and then I'm going to divide through by 3 plus d minus x, so I'm going to get my final answer that b equals xc all divided by 3 plus d minus x, and that would be the answer to that particular question. Okay, so as we're moving on through the worksheet now, I'm not going to show too much of the working, but hopefully you'll get some idea of what we're doing as I'm talking through it. Okay, so let's move on then to question number 10, making c the subject of the formula. So I've got two lots of c, I've got a c there and a c over there, so let's expand out. I'm going to get 3b plus bcd equals bx plus cx. Okay, so if I want to make C the subject of the formula, I've got to get C to the same side, and then I can factorise as I've done before. So if I work this out, I'm going to get BCD minus CX equals BX minus 3B. Well, I'm absolutely fine with BX minus 3B, but what I can do is I can factorise 4C as BD minus X equals BX minus 3B. And if I divide through by BD minus X, what I'm going to get is C equals BX minus 3B all divided by BD minus X, and that would be the answer to that particular question. Okay, so let's move on then to question number 11. So question number 11, very similar sort of thing. I'm going to make Y the subject of the formula. I've got a Y there and a Y over there. So let's expand out. I'm going to get 3Y plus 6 equals 5a minus 2ay. Okay, so I'm trying to make y the subject of the formula. If I move the minus 2ay over, I'm going to get 3y plus 2ay. I've also got this plus 6 on the left hand side. I'm going to move that over towards the right hand side. I'm going to get 5a minus 6. Going to factorise for y again. I get 3 plus 2a equals 5a minus 6. Divide through by 3 plus 2a, and I get y equals 5a minus 6, all divided by 3 plus 2a. Hopefully you're getting the idea now that actually you can factorise and then just divide through. So let's move on then to question number 12. Now question number 12 is slightly different because we're dealing with a fraction, but we would just treat it in the same way that we would normally do. If we make this as x over 1, we've effectively got two fractions that are equal to each other. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cross multiply, and I'm going to get x times p plus 6 equals 1 times p plus 5. Okay, so let's expand that out a little bit. I'm going to get xp plus 6x, and that equals p plus 5. Now I need to make p the subject of the formula, so again I bring p's to, in this particular case, the left hand side. So I'm going to get xp minus p, and I'm going to take everything else over towards the right hand side, and I'm going to get 5 minus 6x. Factorise for p, p is going to go into xp x times, and then to minus p minus 1 time, that equals 5 minus 6x. So if I want to write then as p equals 5 minus 6x all divided by x minus 1, and that would be the answer to that particular question. Okay, hopefully that's okay for you. Let's move on then to question number 13. We're about halfway through now, a bit more, about 2/3 of the way through the video, so please do stop the video, have a go at each of these questions for yourself. This number 13, treat it again as a cross multiplication. I'm going to get x times p minus t equals p plus 5 because I'm multiplying it by 1. Expand out, I'm going to get px minus xt equals p plus 5. I'm going to make p the subject of the formula, so I bring it over towards the left hand side. I get px minus p, bring the minus xt over towards the right hand side. I get 5 plus xt. Factorise for p, x minus 1 equals 5 plus xt, and then I can write this out as p equals 5 plus xt all divided by x minus 1, which is the answer to question number 13. Let's move on to question number 14. This is actually fairly straightforward because it's been given to you as two fractions. So again, I'm just going to cross multiply, and I'm going to get a brackets x plus 6 equals c brackets 5x. I'm looking to make x the subject of the formula, so let's expand out. I've got ax plus 6a equals slightly 5cx, not so great there, but it's absolutely fine. We can still deal with it. Just put x on the, in this particular case, the left hand side of this particular formula. So I'm going to get ax minus 5cx, and now I'm going to put the plus 6a onto the right hand side, so that becomes minus 6a. Okay, so if I factorise then for x, I'm going to get x times a minus 5c equals minus 6a. If I divide through, well, I'm going to get x equals minus 6a all divided by a minus 5c. Okay, now you might have spotted with these that I could have done it the other way round as well, and I think this is slightly tricky to show on the video, but I'm going to give it a go, because if you can imagine, if I'd have written my x's, my x terms on the right hand side, I would have got so if I just put a line in here, I would have got 6a equals 5cx minus ax. I then factorise, I get 6a equals x multiplied by 5c minus a, and then I could write that as x equals 6a divided by 5c minus a. And what you'll see there is I've got exactly the same formula, but this time it's just a little bit nicer to deal with because I don't have a minus 6a at the top. Effectively now I've just got positive 6a. So there are two ways of doing this, and I think you sometimes have to be a little bit careful. You won't lose any marks, but if you do need to factorise or to make a different subject in an equation, sometimes it's easier to deal with positive numbers if you can. Okay, so that's just as an aside really, but well worthwhile taking note of. Okay, so let's move on then to question number 15. Question number 15, I'm going to cross multiply again, just getting a little bit trickier. I've got a times y plus 6, and that equals 2/6 times 5y. So let's expand that out. I get ay plus 6a equals 2 times 5 is going to be 10cy. Okay, so I've got two terms. I've got both terms containing y are ay and 10cy. I'm going to do what I did before on the second part of question number 14, in that I'm going to take my ay term over towards the right hand side, because then I get a 6a, which is positive, which is good, and I've got 10cy minus ay. I'm then going to factorise for y, and I get 6a equals y times 10c minus a, and then I can just divide through by 10c minus a, and I can write that as 6a all over 10c minus a equals y, and you'll see that's just a little bit neater than having a negative 6a term. Okay, so hopefully that's all right for you. Let's move on then to question number 16, which again is pretty similar, but it's just an awful lot of letters and numbers to deal with. I'm just going to cross multiply that. I'm going to get a times 3y minus 3 is equal to c times 4 plus 5yz. Okay, so let's expand that out, and I'm going to get 3ay minus 3a equals 4c plus 5 cyz. We'll try to keep it in alphabetical order if we can. Okay, so I need to get my terms containing z on the, in this particular case, I'm going to put them onto the right hand side, I think. Yeah, that works for me, because then it keeps everything nice and positive. I get positive 5cyz, so that works very well for me. So I can write that as 3ay minus 3a minus 4c equals 5cyz, and I want to get z on its own, so therefore I'm going to divide both sides by 5cy, so I'm going to get my final answer as 3ay minus 3a minus 4c all divided by 5cy, and that equals z. Okay, so again, little bit more challenging. These are up in the kind of grade 7 sort of area, grade 8 area. Okay, so let's move on then to the final page on this particular worksheet. I appreciate it's been quite a long one today, but hopefully it'll give you plenty of practice of how we can work through these sorts of formulas. Okay, so with this type of formula, we need to add two fractions together. So what I'm going to do is make the denominator of 1 over u and 1 over v is the same, which is going to be uv. Now, in order to do that, what I've got to do is multiply the first fraction through by v and the second fraction through by u. So what I end up with is 1 over f equals v over uv plus u over uv. So when I add those together, I get 1 over f equals v plus u all divided by uv. And then, as we've done before, it really is just a case of cross multiplying to kind of work everything out. So if I cross multiply that, I'm going to get, if I just move this along here, I'm going to get uv equals f times v minus u. So expand that out, I've got uv equals fv minus fu. I need to get my u terms on the, in this case, the left hand side, just try to keep it as positive as possible. So I'm going to get uv plus fu equals fv. Okay, then I need to factorize for u, so I get uv plus f equals fv, and so therefore my final answer is u is going to equal fv all divided by v plus f, and that would be the answer to question number 17. So a little bit challenging there for you. Hopefully that's okay for you. All right, let's move on then to question number 18. Making h the subject of the formula. It's not too bad, this particular one, because effectively if I square both sides, I'm going to get m equals 2h plus 1 all over 3. So therefore I've got two fractions equal to each other. I can write that if you want as m over 1, but basically I'm going to get 3m equals 2h plus 1. If I minus 1 from both sides, I'm going to get 2h equals 3m minus 1, and then I'm going to divide through by 2. So if I divide through by 2, I'm going to get 3m minus 1 all divided by 2 equals h, which is the answer to question number 18. Okay, so question number 19, slightly different wording, but actually not too bad as a question. It just says express a in terms of b and c. So it's exactly the same, really. It's making a the subject of this particular formula. So if I expand out, I'm going to get 10a plus 5b equals a plus b plus c. I need to get a towards the left hand side. Now with this particular one, I'm going to get 10a minus a, so actually I can just subtract that straight away. I'm going to get 9a plus 5b equals b plus c. I'm going to minus 5b from both sides. I get 9a equals b plus c minus 5b, and then I'm going to divide through by 9. So a is equal to b plus c minus 5b all divided by 9, and that's the answer to question number 19. Okay, question number 20, final question on this particular worksheet. Hope it's been useful to you. It has gone on a little while, I'm afraid, but hopefully it'll be okay for you. So this one, we need to make y the subject. Well, I'm going to do exactly the same as I've done before. The problem I've got is I've got minus 3wy cubed. Now I don't want minus, I want that as a positive, so I'm actually going to move it over to the left hand side. I'm going to write that as 3wy cubed plus x equals z. So if I minus x from both sides, I get 3wy cubed equals z minus x. Divide through by 3w, I get y cubed equals z minus x all divided by 3w, and then I've got now y cubed equals that, so therefore I want the cube root. So therefore y is going to equal the cube root of z minus x all divided by 3w, and that would be the answer and to the final question. Okay,
so I hope the video was useful to you. It's gone on for a lot longer than just 3 minutes, but I hope it's been useful. Please do add a comment below if you're not sure about anything. Always come back to you. Subscribe to the channel, add the notifications, comment, like, yeah, you know. Okay, see you in the next video.